guy's not fooling anybody. That's not a car.
Hello, not Hot Rod.
Look, it's punishment for being late.
Okay, that's nice.
So, welcome everyone to the Comic Crypt podcast. All 0 people right now, because
Just trying to make it.
Hold on. People could come in sooner or later. We'll see.
yeah. So today, we are in space, sort of, and we're covering a recent comics. So technically, we broke a rule, an unspoken rule with Transformers, with a comic book. We kind of broke the rule in the Comic Crypt about not doing recent comics.
I'm not gonna lie, I was not aware of that at all.
It was an unspoken thing.
All right.
So so we also have Xeno-Nick joining us.
I am back.
The returning man.
He's come back after so long.
Because Transformers.
Well, yes, of course. What? Why would he not come in? It's Transformers. How you doing, Nick, by the way?
I'm doing good.
You doing good? Nick, I hate Transformers fans. We're talking about Transformers tonight, and I hate Transformers fans.
As a Transformers fan. Okay, so...
Yes. So that means I hate myself.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to... Before we kind of start the story and go overall opinions of the comics, why was this thing a thing? Since you, Nick, I'm assuming you two know Jenkins' Nick about kind of the creative history behind this, so can you care to explain?
Behind this specific comic?
Yeah.
I don't, well, to be fair, I don't know too much. I know the most really you have to understand is, well, you know, Transformers
Previous company that had Transformers, they lost that.
Yeah, Transformers has been around for long ass time. It's been here since the 80s. It's what like, was it like its 40th
For his 41st
anniversary?
year.
41st year right now. Last year was the 40th anniversary. I can't believe I missed out on that special showing. That still gets to me. But
don't worry, you only have 9 years left until the next special showing.
I know, Mashley. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm gonna be even older by the time that happens. But gee willikers. But yeah, so 40 something years now, been around, and Transformers has had a lot of comics under different, you know, people publishing it. First it was Marvel, then it was Dreamwave, and then the last people who had Transformers before Skybound was IDW. And IDW no longer has the rights to make Transformers comics now. So now Hasbro has licensed the rights for Transformers comics to Skybound, which I believe is like a subsidiary of Image.
Yep.
Yeah.
So technically, we got now.
I want to ask: Is Skybound the? Is that Robert Kirkman?
Yeah, that's his company.
Okay. It's like Invincible and Walking Dead.
Yeah, the artist and writer of this book is he worked on the Walking Dead comics. So make it that. So you know, make it that as you will. Oh, excuse me. I just ate dinner. Yeah, so that's kind of pretty much all you really need to know where we are right now. This is Skybound. This is the first of a brand new comic series from Skybound Comics for Transformers. It is written, at least the first volume, for sure, was the art is by Daniel Warren Johnson. He's the guy who also write the books, and he is and yeah, like I said, he was the guy who worked on like the Walking Dead comics. So you could make of that as you will. I've never read the Walking Dead comics. All I really know is Walking Dead's kind of got a reputation nowadays. So yeah, that's pretty much where we are right now. That's all really you need to know. So yeah.
All right. As much as I.
All right, just rip the bandit off, crush my hopes and dreams.
Okay, we might as well go overall opinions. Let's just start with. Oh, hey, Darth Bobcat.
Hey, DB.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go for overall opinions. Let's go with you, Changus.
So, well, I guess I'll soften the blow. Long story short, I'm only gonna be really biased right now because I like Transformers, so I am pretty biased. Overall, I really like the series. Me and Nick, we've been keeping up with it currently, somewhat. I haven't read some of the latest stuff yet, but I'm really liking it so far. I do think, admittedly, I should have probably realized maybe this is going to be for everyone, but I personally like it. I think really for me, the big thing with this whole comic series was that I like the character writing. Like that's really kind of the strong suit of this series. There's a lot of really good character writing. At least in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a dumb, biased, brainwashed Transformers fan. Here, take my $500 for the next Masterpiece Optimus Prime Takara. That's gonna have a giant ass backpack. So hey, at least that's me. Yeah. So I'm obviously biased.
So not. What's your opinion on this reading?
From the first 6 issues, I really enjoyed it. I'm with Changus. I really like the character writing. I had a thought just reading through the comics of it's Transformers really does seem like it's one of those like I don't want to say last, that's disingenuous, but it seems like it's one of those remaining series that has character, that has very familiar characters, but there's no real Bible as to how you can portray them. There's no real strict idea of this character always needs to be this. So it's interesting just from my limited knowledge of Transformers media, from how I know Optimus generally from to be honest, his more modern appearances with the Bay former movies and Prime, where he's portrayed as more of a stoic. He's portrayed as more of a stoic, but optimistic leader, and with Transformers 1, where he's portrayed as a pluckish, adventurous rogue, and here, where a worn but very compassionate man. I really enjoy that.
All right, Nick.
I'm with the guys on this one. I think this is the first comic in a long time that understands the big red guy. That's kind of all I really need to say.
Okay.
Essentially, it's like the characters are really well written, and not only is it characters that you don't necessarily think about get their time to shine, it really makes certain characters, like our main villain of this arc, Starscream, like this is Starscream at his most evil.
Optimus. Oh, excuse me. Ha, Megatron. It is I who was the first villain of the Skybound Transformers arc. I have taken over the Decepticons.
That's
straight up.
That is exactly something he would do.
Well, that's straight up what he did.
I know, but like that, like if he knew he was in a comic, that's exactly how he'd respond. To Megatron.
In your face, Megatron.
What did you eat?
I am
Did he-
clearly superior.
All right, ripped.
Matchstick.
All right, crush my hopes, you two.
I thought it was pretty good. It seemed like it's a bit more lean bit more into the violence than usual, but I guess you can get away with that because you're in a comic. It did good work of Optimus. I misunderstood the beginning issue, and I thought they were going to set up that they were going to take the kids to space this time. And I was like, "Ooh, that's a cool idea," and that never happened. I was kind of disappointed, but I was like, aside from that, it was pretty standard. I liked it.
All right, Ninjato, crush my hopes and dreams.
Just so you know, Ninjato, you have been outvoted 4-1.
Yeah, I know. So
Don't worry about
the
it.
writing's good. It is objectively a good story. It's well written. Optimus, I agree with you all with Optimus in terms of character writing and Starscreams. But I did not like this comic.
Okay, why?
If my best description, I think the moment in issue 1. So like everyone, I think it's best. You get the hint of why I get wrong. It's not so much with Optimus
Okay.
or Starscream. Everyone else, what happens to everyone else, and the tone of the story. Because when I saw that image on that corner, because I didn't realize Skybound and Image were the same thing. It's like that should have been a warning sign. Because they just start randomly kill people. It's like, oh, it just feels like, okay. It feels like it gets
because he knew these people.
Outside of the merits of the story.
Okay.
I do not consume Transformers media often, right?
Okay.
I feel like this comic it was more for the people who constantly consume Transformers media all the time.
Okay.
And was like, I want something super fresh. Because as soon as Starscream blows Bumblebee's head on the ground, that is like a clear sign. And then when you have like that same issue where you have Jetfire get shot and then he dies, and then it just keeps happening. It's like, oh, we're just gonna start killing people. Spike, boom, he gets shot. He gets put in a coma in the arc. Oh, Skywarp, he gets torn apart.
Starscream squishes what was her name? Carla's dad.
So I think about Skywarp. I don't know if it was revealed. I can't remember if this was
I
in this
did
arc or
look it up
not.
that he sort of lives.
He's still alive.
I think it's the next arc where they reveal Skywarp's real fate.
They blow up a hospital.
Yeah, like
So there's some things going on and you don't understand, and
it feels like I was reading.
I'm going to check because I'm not sure.
It's like one of those things that feels like it's similar to my opinion on like the Invincible comics, like the Invincible story.
Okay.
When you first see it, you go, "Oh, this is cool. This is interesting, new, like a new take on the superhero genre or like Transformers." But then when you like, after a while,
2 weeks later, Cruz comes to the federal in Jacksonville.
you start thinking about it. It's like you're just doing this to. It feels like I was reading shock value.
Sometimes that's
I mean, they blew up a hospital. That's
Like some
it did feel like shock value when they squished the guy and they blew up the hospital for me.
It's like it feels like it's like, yes, we're not going to do what IDW did, where we're trying to be more like classic Transformers, and it's like, no, we're going to be as brutal as possible. Oh, Bumblebee, bang! Hey, we're just going to use Cliffjumper, who's almost written like Bumblebee. It's like
No. No, that's okay. That's actually one thing wrong. No, Cliffjumper is nothing like Bumblebee. Even in these comics, he's nothing like Bumblebee.
I get that similar, like, as somebody who
Brother John is behind bars in Washington State.
I was reading and was like, I just feel like, okay, you're a little bit too far, and then it's just like feels like constant depression. It's like it's like okay, I would like a little bit more triumphalism, and there are moments in there, but it always feels like it's like, oh, you triumph for a bit, but we have to twist the knife somehow.
John Cruz has an extensive history
Okay.
dating back years, and the judge sentences him to serve.
Like, I can't remember a moment
in state prison.
where it's like unequivocally
looking to devote your case.
probably in like issue not even issue 3 with the hospital. It's like, yeah, Mike lives,
Yeah, he lives.
but then you put it, but yeah, oh, they just lived, but still people died.
Okay.
Like, I don't really want to go blow through blow in this one, so we're just doing freeform. So, like if people don't know what the plot summary is, it's almost the beginning. It's sort of the beginning of every Transformers, except
it is kind of the beginning of every Transformers.
Yeah, like humans finds and this time the only difference is that Spike and Carly finds the arc, and but the Decepticons and Autobots were in there. Autobots get kicked out. Some of them are still deactivated, and like the big factor in this one is that everyone is in need of Energon, and it's like more like a resource war
Yeah.
in this beginning arc. And then also Spike's dad, Sparky, is I'm assuming is a war veteran of some sort.
I mean, they specifically said that he did tours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know which war.
It
doesn't really matter what war he fought in.
From the way this kind of book seems like it's stylized off of, with like, you know, the Carly's van and a lot of like very old looking things, it feels like it's a soft 80s without just claiming it's an 80s. So very much.
So there is mentions of internet. I did notice that. Like the internet was mentioned. So it could be alternate universe 80s.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe
Because
GI Joe
if,
and Cobra are
if it's
also
not
still
like
around.
if it's
So
not like the 80s, it's definitely something like Batman the Animated Series where there's like aesthetics, but
yeah.
despite that, it makes it feel like it can happen at any time,
uh,
despite it.
Mhm.
I bring it up because spark spark plugs like his fatigues are jungle. So
Yeah.
I imagine it be something a lot more closer to Vietnam War era.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, by the way, I read this twice because in my lunch, my first half of the day was a rough start. So I actually read it like a couple hours ago just to make sure my thoughts were not tainted by the feelings that was going on at that time. And I still had those feelings of like, I am not like when I'm criticizing it, like in terms of writing, in terms of like every technical aspect, it is very good. Like I could see why people are really intrigued by it, like are really into it, into this new universe, and it is a fresh take on Transformers. It's just not that one that is like it's one that I was like, yeah, I'm done.
And when he talks to John a week later, it's Mr. Cooper's kid.
Okay. Okay. That's a little disappointing here. All right.
Cruz wants
Uh,
John new Weatherford.
so what is it? You said like it was you said like it's like the violence,
Cruz says he wants his money back.
like
It's not so much the violence. Like it just feels like when you like it feels like okay, you killed Bumblebee, you got your point. Why did you kill Jetfire? Two, it's like I get the story plot point, but it feels like it's treated more like a plot point instead of like you could have had this could have been like an issue all of itself, like an actual dedicated story, but this one just feels a bit more like Jetfire was used as a plot device and then he just dies off screen, even though he could have lived and just be like temporarily shut down like the other Autobots and still be and like you could bring him back later for like a more deeper characterization
What he wants done with Amy Weatherford.
later on. But in this one, they just prefer like it just feels like, oh, we need to sell that this is a dark story, so we're just gonna kill people off. So
I don't. Yeah, but I don't think they're. I don't think it's to be fair, maybe to be fair, it probably for me it probably also I'm also thinking of like everything that happens on after this volume and all that, so maybe that's affecting my judgment. But like I never got the impression that they were killing off characters just for the sake of killing. Like obviously they wanna they want to set this like tone of I don't want to say like grittiness, but like it's a tone.
It doesn't feel gritty. Feels dark, but
yeah, it's kind of the way I view it. It's kind of in a sense, it's this comic honestly is trying to do what Transformers Prime attempted to do to sell initially. It's like Transformers. So there's the show Transformers Prime. They try to sell a similar like tone and idea, where like there's this Autobot you're introduced to for like the first like 5 minutes. Well, he's dead now, to like sell the stakes, but then
Also
The-
had
the sh-
Starscream as the main villain in the first arc.
Yeah, but the show, but then the show never really followed through entirely on that tone. It feels like here this is actually kind of trying to follow through on that tone of essentially everything doesn't feel safe. Like in the sense that there's constantly some kind of ever-present danger happening, and that's on purpose.
Cruise, there's more.
And so
Cover steamer.
oh, I guess really it's just like
Two businesses.
is it like a subjective thing? Because I didn't mind it.
There's a problem.
Like would I like a more like would I like it if they didn't just kill Bumblebee off like that? Sure, but then at the same time though, like killing Bumblebee, the character that everyone loves and like expects to be around forever, helps that really helps sell the what they're
Like,
trying
I
to
didn't
do.
mind killing off Bumblebee.
Okay.
That was not the one that it was the Jetfire one. Because
okay.
because Bumblebee is like killing him off like that makes a sense because you didn't get much character interaction in the comic, so you get more info. He is one of the more recognizable Transformers, like top tier, and also he's just been in frequently a lot of Transformers media, so it's like he is the constant. So if you wanted to showcase how this universe is different, and if you want to do it by killing off a beloved Transformers character, and of course you don't want to kill Optimus Prime, right?
Yeah.
So for me, like number 2 is Bumblebee.
All right.
While the problem with Jetfire is like all it does, it feels you still get the whole point across of like Jetfire is like I went on this mission and I have failed my mission of finding a new source of Energon for Cybertron, a way to revive it.
Okay.
Again, it's like, okay, but why did you kill him off? Like on that, it just feels that one feels a little bit more pointless, and then it just happens every issue, having like characters die every issue.
I don't believe Jetfire's death is pointless because there's one aspect I think there is a point to Jetfire dying, and that is to show that Starscream is evil enough to kill essentially what he considered a friend, to essentially show that our threat, Starscream, is a special kind of monster.
Something belonging to Cruise that's
I think it was like that shot was good enough. You didn't have to make it a kill shot. If not, and like compared to other deaths in the show, in the comic,
Okay.
they were always usually very quick, and this one it was like, oh, we're gonna just prolong it to make you.
No, I think also is to I think one thing obviously this comic trying to do is really sell this idea of like the war takes its toll, and then like even people who don't want any part of it end up getting caught in all this. Like Jetfire, he wasn't, like, for the longest time he wasn't even involved in this war for a good chunk, but then here comes, and then just unfortunately started he ends up getting caught in it, whether you liked it or not, and then Starscream kills him. Like, I don't think any death is pointless. At least I never felt that way. Like, like I like maybe I can say this considering I don't think you're probably gonna continue reading this, but like the Jetfire death does kind of come back later on in a way, but also but I think also with thinking about that, Jetfire's death also is to help sell uh the idea of like the war, the war, claims innocent lives alongside, like Carly's dad, but also how it's taking this huge personal toll on Optimus. Cause like you said, like, everything kind of feels a little bit miserable at times, but like I think where it really is just like a subjective tone thing, but like that is kind of what this series is going for, because they really want to sell this idea that like this is just taking,
This is the darkest hour.
This is just taking it's the darkest hour, and it's just taking a massive toll on Optimus Prime himself. How this is just affecting him super negatively. So, and if it's not gonna be for everyone, then it is what it is. It's a little disappointing to hear, admittedly, but again, like I said, I'm biased. I'm biased, not just because I've been reading this, but also just I really like Transformers, so I'm obviously gonna be a little biased, right? But even then, like, I never felt that like deaths were pointless. I at least I felt that way. So I thought so. So like I don't know. I don't mind Jetfire's death. I think it served its purpose. It and then just like really like how like again this is just to really sell the idea. This is just taking a huge toll on Optimus Prime, because this series really kind of wants to push Optimus Prime as sort of this main protagonist of this series, in a sense. Beside like Spike's like the the main human character we follow, but then for the robot side, they really want to focus on Optimus Prime himself as the guy we're following. So but again, if it's not for you, then it is what it is. Just it is what it is. I don't know, I think I said all I had to say on that aspect. I do like the art though.
Yeah, I do. It definitely sells, especially when you get like the action sequences. Like there are some cool moments, like Optimus ripping out his broken arm off and using it as a flail to beat the crap out of Skywarp.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty nifty. Yeah, like, art's pretty good. I think also I think also the art helps sell, that sort of dark tone the is going for. Cause despite being like these like very 80s G1 design, it's on purpose. It's supposed to be recognizable. Oh, on first glance, like you look at these guys first glance, like, oh yeah, that's those are Transformers. Yeah, I perfectly understand that. And then so like when like all this violent stuff happens, it helps sell like, oh wow, damn. Oh, you gonna say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, the red flex on Starscream's face
Mm.
is very eye catching. But I really like the fighter pilot. His squashing.
Mm.
Because like the obvious use of color to censor
Mhm.
some of the more egregious aspect, some of the more visceral aspect.
Yeah.
Just the use of black,
Mhm.
and it coming out like a brushstroke.
Mm.
That was something. That was something I really like to call attention to. Also, I like I like the I like the volume's use of the onomatopoeias. My favorite one
Mm.
is one of the Constructicons uh ramming into
Optimus.
Optimus,
Yeah.
and it's heavy metal, and I'm like, oh man, that's really good.
Yeah, I love the onomatopoeia here. I think personally my favorite one is Nick knows this one. It's that one panel where it's just in the background. It's like you know the song,
You know the song.
you know the song playing. So so that was really fun. Uh, oh yeah. Also like one of the also I just find it super cool and creative how like of Optimus using Megatron's arm. Like
Yeah, that
that's something that's I don't think anything has done, and I think like if it and I think like also the G1 designs help sell that even more here because you got these like very recognizable designs, including like down to like the like a foot or an arm. So like even though you've never seen Megatron before, you can tell. Oh yeah, that's like the Megatron's arm from like the cartoon. You recognize it, and it's like oh, that's cool.
and it
Yeah.
does provide a unique aesthetic.
Hmm.
Um, with Optimus, with him having Megatron's arm,
Yeah,
and
is pretty neat.
it does have like some weight to it. I do like how there is a bit of weight
Hmm.
uh to like the moment where he pulls out the arm.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, it's really fun.
Like, I do like this little red thing. Now this is pink.
Now this is peak. So
So, so what do you guys? So who was your favorite character other than Optimus and Starscreams? Because they had a pretty good amount of time getting explored.
uh I really like Cliff Jumper.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I also like Sparky.
Oh yeah, Sparky.
Uh, I really like Sparky. Uh, uh, like I'm not I'm not very familiar with other media, but I feel like Ratchet feels very familiar from like something, and I like his some of his characterization. Uh, uh, I like Kiss Jumper. Uh, I like some of RC from what we saw.
RC's fun.
I like
RC,
her too. I think she gets better with the later issues.
yeah,
Yeah, she only
RC
shows up in the last
definitely
act. Like,
RC definitely gets a lot more in the next like big arc slash volume. So so uh Also, I have like the actual like physical volume with me right now, and I really like like some of these like big like splash pages they do. It's like ooh, that's neat. Like just one thing I really love was like just like one like when you're first introduced to Devastator, just one big page dedicated to just selling like the size of this guy. Like oh my gosh, he's huge, and he's just got like this evil grin on him. It's like hey. So that's really neat. Uh, I also like little bits here we see here and there with Soundwave. Soundwave is also definitely a character that like in the next arc volume is someone who's gonna really shine. Like cause
Yeah,
here for
he takes over the Decepticons like immediately afterwards.
He did the classics. He did the classic Soundwave quote. He said the thing.
He said this.
Soundwave, don't leave me here.
As you command. Alright, I'm gonna ditch your ass now.
What?
That's still so.
Kill yourself.
I still love it how he goes. Megatron would never stop.
Oh yeah, like that's also another thing. Also, like I do like how like even though you don't see Megatron, like you feel his presence still here and there. You know, like you feel his presence physically with his arm now attached to Optimus, but also you like you feel him through like Starscream's interactions with Decepticons. How like how like Soundwave is like questioning him here and there, and he's constantly going,
I'm better than him. I'm in charge now.
So like it's actually really interesting that Megatron. So like Megatron doesn't really show up till like the end of the third volume, the third arc of this ongoing series so far. It is to be fair, this is also just a recurring thing that's been going on recently since like the movies, where they really want to sell the idea of Megatron's supposed to be like the big bad of this entire series. So in order to like sell the idea of he's this big bad, he's gonna be kind of he's kind of like I guess like a Thanos sort of deal, like in the MCU where like he's being alluded to and built up.
What I saw from you, from the streams you guys did, in the months past, just one of that panel finally getting to see Megatron, and he's at his full Vilgax.
He's at his full Vilgax.
Of just like trying to just repair himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's yeah, I like it.
Like the Sparky,
Mm-hmm.
Left Jumper, and Carla.
Carly.
Yeah.
Carla.
It was
the one Sparky is the one I'm mixed on.
Okay.
He's the only one that I really feel like in terms of like story structure is like I do like the beats they have. And it's like, should they save this for later? Like, it's like
Sparkplug.
Sparkplug sacrificing himself. Like,
it is very interesting
I feel like that's set up for something that's going to happen later on.
I'll say so in the next volumes and arcs, they haven't like done anything conclusive with it yet, but it is setting up stuff, and it all ties back into whatever they're doing with Optimus. That said, I am very interested also, cause this is also just gonna be really interesting because after the fourth volume of this series comes out, the main writer Daniel Warren Johnson is actually gonna be stepping down. Someone else is gonna be taking over.
Do you know who that somebody else is?
No,
Not yet.
not yet. So we don't. So we don't really know what's gonna happen. No, I'm not gonna think too. I'm not gonna be really negative about that. I'm not gonna assume the worst. But it is very interesting what's gonna be happening. I so I do kind of wonder if maybe why a lot of the stuff is feels like it's happening so soon and stuff is because uh Dan Warren Johnson is gonna be leaving after was it like when does volume 4 end? Is that like issue 24 or 5, Nick?
24.
24.
I kind of like him going a bit faster like this. And do a lot more stuff. Like I watched the first episode of Breaking Bad, and I was really surprised that I thought the first episode was going to end with Walter White asking Jesse to cook with him. They that was the middle of the episode, so I'm kind of like. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Just cutting the chase, getting the good shit.
Yeah. I do. So, okay. I can also say this. I've been mostly positive here. So I wouldn't say this is a criticism, more of just a concern, because again, Dan Warren Johnson is no longer going to be writing this after Volume 4 ends, issue 24. And again, I was saying I do wonder, like, if all this stuff happening so soon is because I think once after Volume 4, then I think Daniel Warren Johnson wanted to, like, fit in all his ideas as quickly as possible, because then starting with once like the next writer comes in, maybe they'll pick up where Daniel Johnson left off, but there's probably the chance he could also just start going in a whole new direction that Johnson never intended. So it is something I'm wondering where, like, why, like, there's like everything is going so fast, but also why there's so much, a lot of these characters dying is because once the new guy takes over, then there's a possibility it's going to be like going into becoming a completely new, different story. Like for all I know, there's a chance that once the new guy takes over, fuck it, Bumblebee's back. You never know. Hey guys,
they're gonna reveal it's like, yeah, that blaster shot in the face was actually like, you can survive that. We just replaced you with a new head.
So I do want to point this out because when me and Nick were reading it for our own streams and stuff, I did point this out where how death is treated here in the series, at least for the robots and stuff. It is. I don't want to say it has no stakes, but it's not like there is a chance some of these characters could maybe possibly come back. We don't know. They're robots at the end of the day, so maybe all you have to do is just you were joking about. Maybe all they really have to do is just replace Bumblebee's head and he's good as new. Who knows? But I do feel like the death treated here is not so much like everyone's gonna death isn't permanent, but more like how all this affects these characters and everyone around them. Like sure, like the robots takes a lot to hurt them and kill them, but then what about all these humans standing around in the crossfire? They're not coming back anytime soon. I I don't know unless the new writer decides fuck it somehow Sparky just walks out of the Matrix good as new. Spike, I'm not dead. I've returned from Transformer heaven. Mm.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, it. I feel like a lot of the Transformers deaths feel a bit reversible, which like I hope if that is the case, it's not, it doesn't feel like just man, this guy is dead, but we can bring him back. Don't worry, five issues in, because like from normal everyday comics that's the thing that kind of drags you down.
Yeah, like that's the thing. That's like the problem when you frequently like kill people off, like kill characters off with actually a name and have like a history and it's not like it's not just like a random F tier Transformer character that no one cares about. Well, very few care about. But it's like, but then if you make death reversible, like so easy, it's like, okay, then what's the point? Then it is all about shock value.
I don't want to say it's just for shock value though, because like I don't know. We're gonna have to see. At the end of the day, this what so. Oh, you were gonna say something?
Oh no.
Oh, I thought.
Magic you were about to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say what this kind of feels like to me, and it maybe this is it's both for in his favor and not in his favor, but like the series kind of feels like Daniel Warren Johnson not necessarily tried to make Transformers feel like gritty and real, but like in a sense putting a more dark spin on the original Transformers, like original from that good old 80s cartoon, but now is not trying to be like the 80s cartoon tone wise.
The thing that I came away more than anything wasn't that this was this was dark and gritty, there's blood everywhere. It's like to me a lot of the tone just comes across as and pardon the pun, down to earth.
I think that's a very good description of it.
That's a nice description, yeah.
Because there's no like for the deaths we did have. Sure, you can argue like did this guy needed to die? That's something you could argue, but like his his death was given a proper respect. Does it kind of come into the idea of pessimism with Skywarp believing that all he has done is in vain? Sure, but like there's a sense of care put to his shutdown, and there's a lot of weight behind a lot of just the character stats. Even Davey, after he was crushed, they didn't go, "Oh look, Davey's crushed. Now the stakes have been ramped." It's no, Carly lost father.
Yeah, I do actually have a question about Carly. What was the point of that panel with Starscream crushing her legs? Like, for a second, I thought they were gonna paralyze her.
I thought I thought he was like kid. I thought Like I thought the same thing, but I thought they ended up kidnapping her, and that's like gonna be in the next arc. Is that right?
No, you didn't. He didn't kidnap her. So
But then, like, I did take a peek on the next issue. She's walking with both legs, like, so she's
no,
not even.
Starscream didn't crush her. He was just grabbing onto her.
It seems like he was trying to squeeze her, which maybe is where a lot of the pain came from. But like, I did kind of saw that as a bit of a cliffhanger, which I'm not mad at. It is a sense of like, you know, you could question like maybe like the pain tolerance isn't consistent. I knew like Cliff Jumper was gonna get her out.
Yeah,
I think maybe also like just how it is as a comic, like maybe like pacing could be like different for individual readers. I think they're trying to sell. I think they're trying to again sell the idea like Starscream is doing all this with Cliffjumper and Carly, all while at the same time Optimus has to deal with Devastator, and then like before Starscream can really do any real damage to her, you know, boom, there comes Devastator, landing on top of him. So I never had a problem with it. Like they do more stuff with Carly eventually.
I didn't necessarily have a problem with it. It's just like for me, it was just a bit weird when I was reading it. It's like every time we see like Starscream has a hand on somebody, oh, like they're dead, they get squeezed out to bits, and it's like all of a sudden, like Carly in a similar situation.
I didn't really.
It's like a-okay. Like,
well, you know
like that.
So, well, I think in my mind, I think it's really just Starscream playing with his food. Like oh, here's this girl that Cliffjumper wants to Starscream to let go of. Well, I'm not gonna let go of her.
And I think that came after if I remember, that came after like the mention of how she said Starscream killed her father.
And after she shot him in the face.
So to me, it kind of just feels like the Starscream was being extra sadistic, of just like, oh yeah, I killed this one's creator, so I could just spend extra time with her.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Starscream. This is like the most like sadistic and just evil Starscream has been in a while. This is very much a guy who likes to play with his food because he thinks it's genuinely fun. So yeah. Well, because at the end of the day, Starscream is a bully. So he's a big ass bully who has the power to kill people easily. He's not gonna fucking take on Megatron anytime soon. But then here comes this little weak human girl. Oh, this is someone I could just play around with, and and push my weight on.
Yo, Cliffjumper, he's short. I'll just kick him and he'll go flying. It'll be easy to kick his ass.
Exactly. I mean, that's why he went for Bumblebee in the first place. Because Bumblebee is like, oh, this weakling. He's the weakest Autobot. Yeah, I'll just kill him. Fuck it.
I have a question. Is Cliffjumper and Bumblebee part of the same clan?
They haven't said that yet. Most likely, probably not, unless Daniel Warren Johnson says otherwise eventually, or like once the new writer takes over, then he goes, yeah, no, they're part of the same clan.
Because a lot of exactly like you said, it couldn't just be, it possibly can't be like authorial intent, but like the implication I kind of got from Starscream and cliff jumpers that not only is Starscream a big sadistic meanie,
Mhm.
it's also kind of a bit of a bigot.
He's a bit of a bigot.
It's like he just inherently views like smaller bots as just automatically weak and helpless. And
Bigoted Starscream's actually really funny.
Don't you know, Megatron? The smaller bots are minorities. They don't have rights.
Oh my gosh, I'm sounding like Megatron.
Starscream, don't.
Optimus, they're small bots. They don't have rights. Wait.
And he just has a flashback. Don't you know, Starscream? They're small bots. They don't have
They don't
rights.
have rights.
Oh my gosh, I sound just like him.
So bigoted Starscream is just kind of funny to me. That I do like also. I do also like how here the Decepticons are portrayed as just like
Monsters?
they're pretty bad. I think like the closest to I guess somewhat a sympathetic Decepticon, at least in this issue, is maybe Soundwave, because Soundwave clearly has some kind of like morality going on, because like he cares for like the little robot dudes that go in his chest and all that. He cares very much about them, but then when it comes to the
apart Skywarp.
so yeah, so the next issue, the next volume definitely is one that decides to start going even more into like the inner minds of these Decepticons. Like I'll say, since I'll say this like since you're probably not gonna read the next volume. Thundercracker shows up in the next volume, and then that's where they really start doing this whole kind of like, not necessarily like Thundercracker and like some Decepticons going like, are we the baddies? More like, like they like more like, are we, is what we're doing really, justifiable for, our quote unquote cause.
I feel like with what little we had of the Decepticons from the reading, they feel, the writing is feel less inclined to just make them out to be grunts. We could sure they may be a lot more kill happy in the Autobots, a lot, and are willing to do whatever it takes for the sake of a goal. There's kind of a sense of outside of Starscream, these people all knew each other. It's far away from just like the original G1 explanation of Megatron just brainwashed them all, and that's the reason they all act like like evil,
a bunch of meanies,
a bunch of evil goons. It's like these people all kind of know each other. I can't believe I'm blanking out on the name, but like
who you thinking of?
The other
Skywarp?
not Skywarp, but
Like
Thundercracker,
Reflector.
Yeah, Thundercracker. When Thundercracker comes in and he sees,
hold on, I gotta say this.
Okay.
We are getting fewer and fewer usable alternative names for flunkies. Henchman is too gendered, and hench people just doesn't have a nice ring to it. You can't say minion without thinking of the little yellow guys, and don't even get me started on the word goon.
Thank you, Nick.
Like when Thundercracker kind of just saw Skywarp mangled in the way he did, there's a sense of, hey, Thundercracker had, the Skywarp was his comrade, and he believed, that the Autobots did this, those evil scum.
Yeah.
So there's a sense of these aren't just children fighting with each other, but these are actual people who just believe in the same ideology.
Hmm.
Who had camaraderie
Hmm.
in the
Yeah,
past.
It definitely feels like in this one, it feels like this is an actual war, and that they've been fighting for so long and so entrenched that the talk of peace is not an option, despite Optimus telling the Soundwave like, "I'm here for peace."
And then, yeah, I think that's just really what this series is going for. They're really trying to, again, sell that this war is just taking toll on everyone in all sorts of different ways. And then, especially the next volume when Alita shows up the next volume. Yeah, Alita 1
Yeah,
shows up the next volume.
Alita.
And then she is like really showing she's really showing Optimus like, wow, no, this war is just kind of ruining us all. So it's but yeah, I do overall like this series. If you are looking for something like really fresh and brand new, then I really don't think the comic is gonna give you 100% that. I think to be fair, my opinions on Transformers in general currently is a little conflicted because we had a chance for something really brand new and fresh, but then that ship kind of went and sailed. Thank you very much, Nickelodeon or Paramount. I don't know whoever the fuck was in charge of season 2 of Earthspark. Thank you very much. Ooh. So,
Changus, will this cheer you up?
let me see. What'd you send me? What'd you send me, Nick?
Yeah.
That does kind of cheer me up. Why do you keep posting stuff about
I think it's funny.
So we did reach the end of an hour mark. So, any last thoughts about the comic?
I don't know. Again, I'm biased, so I'm still gonna be reading this stuff, even like when the new writer comes in. Won't lie, I'm a little disappointed, but not mad that it's to be expected. Not everything is gonna be for everyone, so it is what it is. I like this. I like this volume. It sold me on everything else. And I guess also one more thing, since we kind of didn't really talk about it too much. But Nick knows this, man. If I had a nickel for every time a Witwicky did some weird ass shit with the Matrix and technically died to save Optimus, I'd have 2 nickels. It's
just a lot, but I'm shocked it happened twice.
I'm shocked it happened twice. Out of all the things Daniel Warren Johnson could do, I was not expecting Revenge of the Fallen to happen again. So,
a weird, just like minor thing I kind of liked was Skywarp. Yeah, Skywarp. He's laughing at like the puny human resistance.
yeah.
And he just mentions the Fallen as a point of God, and I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool.
You know, because the Decepticons, I feel like the Decepticons here just utterly reject the Primes. So like, they, you know, the person they hold into high regards would be the Fallen.
Yeah. That's it. If that's it. Okay, you know, I'll say this. I don't think Daniel Warchance is gonna do it, but if the new writer starts putting into 13 primes, then maybe I'll stop. Maybe then I'll stop reading.
What if he does 14 primes?
Well, if it's 14 primes, then maybe that's a different story. Now we're onto something there. But 13 primes? No, I think I've had my fill of 13 primes at this point, man. I think I'm done with 13 primes. And then, yeah, Transformers fans want 13 anti-primes for Unicron for some fucking reason. I don't know why, but okay.
What if you have 13 anti-primes, but no 13 primes?
I still think that'd be fucking stupid. I think that'd still be stupid.
What is an anti-prime?
I don't fucking know, man. I don't know.
I mean, like, is that just like, you know, that's just we Unicron just needs a title for his heralds now? Like,
I don't know. I guess maybe
Galvatron just like an anti-prime now.
I don't know. I don't know. I as a Transformers fan, I hate Transformers fans, and that includes myself. Why?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah. So I think this concludes our discussion on Skybound Comics. It is a very good series. I'm pretty sure that this whole panel is pretty unanimous that it's a very good. I am the only one who didn't like it. All right, so have a good night, everyone. Thank you for watching.
We're doing Fantastic Four next time, aren't we?
No, we're doing Superman.
Oh,
no, I think we're
Fantastic Four.
Yeah. We're doing
is it Fantastic Four or Superman?
We're doing the Unforgiven storyline.
Unforgiven?
Yeah, no, Unthinkable. It's the one where Dr. Doom uses his girlfriend traded his girlfriend's life and made her into leather armor and to respec into magic to screw with the Fantastic Four.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think this is Mark Waid who did it, who wrote this storyline.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah. So, see you guys next time as we delve into the craziness that is Dr. Doom's eternal hatred for the Richards.
For the Richards.
Bye.
See ya.